my friends. Even though I did take some time off of YouTube, it doesn't mean that I didn't film anything for you guys over the past couple of weeks, because I have been doing quite a bit of window shopping. I had to buy some new pieces of furniture. I went to Louis Vuitton to see what they had to offer when it comes to their home selection, and mainly trunks, because it is something that has been on my wish list for quite a while. And I also stopped by Hermes to check out their latest and greatest. But anyway, I also went furniture shopping, which I wanted to squeeze in here because I wanted to show you some of the furniture pieces that I did buy, or I should say I ordered, and some of the ones that I am going to be ordering. And if you guys would like to see more home related content from me, if you would like to see, maybe I was even thinking about maybe doing a home tour. I'm not sure how I feel about it yet, but if it's something that a lot of you guys would be interested in, maybe give this video a thumbs up, just so I know it's something that I should put on my list of videos to film. It's definitely something that we can do. But anyway, without further ado, if you'd like to come on this luxury shopping vlog with me, then make sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet, and keep on watching. Let's start at Louis Vuitton, which I feel like is a little known fact that Louis Vuitton creates some incredible furniture pieces. Personally, they're a little bit whimsical for my liking, but if you like this sort of really colorful aesthetic, they will have some incredible pieces for you, like this vase with these origami leather flowers, which don't let the merchandising fool you, you have to buy these separate. But moving on to the pieces that we came here to see, which are the Louis Vuitton trunks. Louis Vuitton trunks come in several different sizes. The smaller ones are called boxes, whereas the larger ones are called trunks, which is really how Louis Vuitton got started. And here I looked at their largest trunk, which I think is called the courier trunks. It comes in several different sizes, this one being the largest one, which is 110 centimeters. And it's the piece that most trunk collectors will start with. It's one of those pieces that I think most people will use as a bench in their bedroom or as a coffee table in their living room, which is why you do get this glass piece free of charge, which is a beautiful piece. But personally, I just cannot justify spending this kind of money on a piece of Louis Vuitton, no matter how exquisite the craftsmanship is. And speaking of furniture, let's move on to a really famous furniture house, which I had never actually looked at before. It's an Italian house, which I believe is called Molteni&C. If I have any Italian viewers, please do correct me in the comment section. But it's a brand that I discovered through my favorite architect, Vincent van Duysen, who I believe is one of their designers. And it's a brand that is just breathtaking. If you're into really modern, quite Italian furniture, it's a brand that you will adore. Personally, their designs are just a little bit too opulent for my liking and a little bit too modern, but their pieces are beautifully crafted. So if this is an aesthetic that appeals to you, do look into this brand. I will make sure to have them linked down below for you, because I think a lot of people would very much enjoy their pieces and the craftsmanship is just top notch. But if you're interested in how I would envision my home and my aesthetic when it comes to interior design, this store that we're going to move on to next is basically heaven on earth for me. If I could furnish my entire home from this store, or actually let me do one better, if I could just move in here, that would be just heaven for me. There isn't a single piece in this store that I wouldn't want to have, and I am trying to get quite a few pieces from here. The reason I'm saying I am trying to is because my order keeps getting delayed no matter who I place my order with. I don't know why that is, but everything takes so long these days when it comes to furniture. But one of my favorite brands here is 101 Copenhagen. They create some of the most beautiful brutalist pieces of furniture. So if that's more your aesthetic, if you appreciate more sort of Nordic designs, 101 Copenhagen is a brand that you will very much enjoy. And then I almost forgot about these storage boxes or baskets, which I was in love with. They come in 3 different sizes, in 3 different colors: in small, which is white; in medium, that's sand; and then in black, which is even bigger than these, which I was so tempted by these baskets. But they are, I think they start around 100 euros and then they go up to a few €100 depending on which size you pick them up in, which, yes, it's a ridiculous amount of money to spend on a basket, but it's even more ridiculous if you realize that they're actually paper mache, so they're basically made of cardboard. And as tempted as I am by these, I think I'm going to furnish my home first before I go ahead and spend almost $1,000 on basically cardboard boxes and baskets, but this is a store that I will make sure to link down below for you. And then next up, I did stop by Dior, not to look at furniture, but just to have a browse and see what's new. And since I was already there, I of course had to look at the Lady Dior's in some incredible new finishes. The Lady Dior, in my opinion, I am going to shout this from the rooftops until everyone agrees with me, but I do think that the Lady Dior's are some of the most underrated and understated iconic luxury bags. If you're looking for a classic timeless piece, something that you will have in your collection forever but isn't going to break the bank, which, don't get me wrong, these bags are not cheap by any means, but they're quite reasonably priced, especially compared to the likes of Chanel, which I think if you have been eyeing a classic Chanel bag, this, I think, would add a lot more interest to your collection. So I am a big advocate of the Lady Dior bag, even though it's not something that I personally would be able to pull off. Trust me, I try every single time, and I will also try some bags on for you in this video later on. They're beautiful, but they are unfortunately just a little bit too ladylike for me, as the name suggests. And I actually think that the same goes for Dior's fine jewelry. I'm not sure why that is, but I think their pieces are so underrated. Perhaps it's because they don't really promote their fine jewelry. They don't come out with new pieces and new designs that often. But if you are looking for some inspiration on how to spice up your fine jewelry collection, on what pieces to buy next, things that are beautifully crafted but you won't see over and over again, please don't overlook Dior's fine jewelry. On the other hand, this is something that you could skip, in my opinion, which is a newer bag launch from Dior. I think it is called the Lady Dior Joy or D-Joy, something along those lines, which is an elongated, stretched out version of the Lady Dior bag. I think we talked about this before, but I am not a big fan of these elongated bags. Hermes is doing it for the next season. They're going to be doing it not only with the Kelly bag but also with the Della Cavalleria bag. I just don't like these proportions. I think they're quite awkward. They kind of look like something that you would carry an instrument in, or something that a clown would carry, just because of the weird proportions. I am just not a fan. Previously it was only available in leather and I think tweed, but now they're also doing these bags in exotic skins, which I think Dior's exotic skins are really reasonably priced and they can add quite a bit of bang for your buck to your collection. But I would definitely not buy such a trendy bag in exotic skin, because I think it is going to be a waste of money. But this is just my humble opinion. However, there is another newer bag, at least it is new to me, which is going to be this one. I think it's called the Dior Essential Tote, which immediately reminded me of that iconic Chanel tote bag. I believe it was called the Chanel GST, which is a vintage bag that is no longer in production, but I always loved the look of that Chanel bag. It's personally not something that I would buy for myself, but I always appreciated it from the far. And this, I think, is just a more modern take on a really similar shape. If you are looking for just a really classy and elegant tote bag, one that carries a lot and isn't in your face, because this one is not nearly as recognizable as the Chanel tote bag is. Obviously it does have the ganache quilting, but it's not something that you will spot from the far. It's not one of those things that you will immediately recognize if you're not in the know. If you're not super familiar with Dior, you won't look at this bag and immediately be like, wow, that is a Dior bag from 2022. It's more for those who are in the know, and most people will just view it as a really expensive looking bag, which it is. So if you're looking for a classy tote bag, this is the one for you. Moving on to some pieces that are not so classy. Basically, the entire current men's collection from Kim Jones for Dior, which, let me just say this, as big of a fan as I am of Kim Jones's work, personally, I think that his designs are just getting more and more tired each season. There isn't a single piece in this collection that I liked or I would spend my money on. Well, there is one piece that was decent, which was this quilted jacket, which I mean, it looked nice. I love the ganache quilting. I'm going to try anything and everything with the ganache quilting on it. But personally, I just didn't think it was that innovative or it was that fresh. It's something that Kim Jones has been doing. In fact, I think this is actually a design that was borrowed from their women's line. The main difference is that in the women's line, they had this jacket available in black, whereas for men, they only did these in navy blue, and then I think they had it in like a dark brown color, which, you know me, if it's not black, I am probably not going to buy it. And since I was already at Dior, I of course had to play around with the Lady Dior bags just one more time. Not that I haven't tried these bags before, but I just love playing around with these bags because I'm probably never going to own a Lady Dior bag, but it doesn't mean I can appreciate them from afar. As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, if you're looking for a really classy, elegant, timeless bag, the Lady Dior is an incredible style to invest in. And if you would like to get a truly show-stopping, jaw-dropping piece, getting the Lady Dior in Lizard is the way to go. Of course, they are quite expensive, but they're a lot more reasonably priced than exotic skins are from other brands, and the quality is pretty outstanding. So here I am trying the mini Lady Dior, which isn't actually the smallest size. This is a bag that you can pick up with both a chain strap and also with a strap made of leather. And it is quite a small size, but it is pretty mighty. It's a bag that will fit quite a bit. I think this would even fit your phone, which I know is a concern for a lot of people when it comes to smaller bags. As you guys can see, this bag doesn't look great on me, especially not with my post-gym outfit, but I took one for the team and I wanted to show you what this size would look like on me. As you can see, it is a bag that's just a little bit too ladylike for me, but I did try the micro Lady Dior, which is actually the smallest take on the Lady Dior bag. And if you thought that the mini Lady Dior was small, let's look at the micro Lady Dior, which is tiny. It's basically a glorified card holder. This will fit nothing more than a couple of credit cards, maybe a lip balm and your keys, and that's probably going to be it. But if I was to buy a Lady Dior, I would probably get it in the micro size because it's something that I think I could play around with. I could make it look and feel just a little bit more fashion forward and less ladylike. I wouldn't carry it crossbody. I would probably carry it handheld, not by the handles. I would just grab it and go, almost as I carry my Kelly wallet. And speaking of Kelly wallets and Hermes, let's jump over to Hermes to look at their latest launches, starting with this new fragrance, which is inspired by Greek islands. I think a garden on a Greek island to be specific, which they explained to me that it is a citrusy, woodsy scent. Let me be honest, it just smells like a mosquito repellent. I am personally not the biggest fan of this particular line of fragrances from Hermes, but the one that I have worn in the past is the one up on the screen here. Their new launch, I would avoid unless you're going to use it as a really overpriced mosquito repellent. Sticking to the nature theme, we're not looking at mosquitoes here or even flowers. We're actually looking at some herbs and plants, which I think is so insanely difficult to create any sort of floral or plant-inspired prints in an elevated way, but Hermes nailed it with this new print and embroidery, which is actually part of their men's line. So I tried on this new cashmere sweater because I love Hermes's cashmere that features this beautiful leather sort of embroidery. But my boutique only bought this sweater in pink, in bubblegum pink to be specific, which of course depicts these herbs or sort of plants, and bubblegum pink is just really not my shade. I am way too pink and cool tone to pull off this color, and to be really honest, this shape wasn't the most flattering either. Something else, however, which I didn't expect to like as much as I did, is this sweater, which is from their women's line. It's actually a cashmere blend sweater that is double-sided, so you can wear it on both sides. On one side it is plain, and then on the other side, if you reverse it, it has the Ush on bias print in this beautiful, deep, dark, rich beige tone, and I think they also do this in navy. I didn't get it because it was quite cropped. It was meant to be cropped, but because it's part of their women's line, it looked even more cropped on me, and I was wondering if it's maybe just a little bit too cropped. I would love to know what you guys think, because this is something that I'm extremely tempted by, and I have to make up my mind soon because I think they only have one left in this size. So it's something that I'm definitely thinking about. You're getting a 2-in-1. but it's not like you get a 2-in-1 for free, because the fact that it is reversible is also reflected in the price. But it is something that I really liked, because it's nothing, there really isn't anything quite like this in my collection. So I would love to hear your feedback. And this actually brings us to the end of today's shopping vlog. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so yet. I really appreciate you being here and watching, and I hope to see you back here with a new video really, really soon.